If I really truly want to grow and scale another business and continue to grow and scale my wellness business, then I've got to figure out what's working on Instagram right now. This isn't just post whatever you want. And so that is when I was like, all right, I'm going to dive deep into my insights, the insights of women that I am mentoring. And I really need to unlock these keys to the algorithm. And I had to shift my mindset from the algorithm's working against me to literally the algorithm is a computer program that is just echoing what other people want. All Instagram wants to do is make people happy and keep them on the app. If I'm not getting new people, then I'm obviously not doing what people want right now. And I really had to take that to heart and be like, the algorithm's not the enemy. I need to shift what I'm doing so that I can serve the people that I want to serve.
Hi, Holly. I'm so excited to have you here. I think we just chatted for 25, 30 minutes. I was like, we got to hit record. We got to do this. So thank you so much for coming on.
I am so excited to be here. I have been literally binging your podcast. So I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I know. You and I kind of were at an event and we were in the line getting food and we were just chit chatting. And it's amazing. I talk to my people all the time about being in person events, being with people, networking. It's such a huge thing. But literally all it took was you and I walking next to each other, dishing up our food in a buffet line to them being here where we are right now.
Exactly. Yeah. In-person events are everything. Coming from two people who build businesses online, there is nothing that can compete with in-person connections, networking, and getting in the room.
So much. Okay. I agree. But today we're going to talk about all online. So what we do online, how we do it online. And I know you are a queen of social media, at least Instagram particularly. That's your zone, right? Are you on any of the other platforms?
So I am actually, my first business I built on Facebook as well. And so a lot of this, and it's a Facebook business page. And so actually everything that we'll talk about today with Instagram, I have just been transferring over to my Facebook page as well, Facebook business page. And it has in the last 9 months grown by 50,000 followers as well. So a lot of it's very transferable, especially for Facebook business pages.
Okay. Yeah. I was actually just talking to somebody recently. I'm like, I don't know. I think there was a rumor going around for a while that Facebook pages were dead and people were elsewhere.
They really were dead for a long time. And I think Reels on Facebook have brought back Facebook business pages because Facebook business pages became very pay to play.
Yeah.
And then Facebook was like, oh, we want people using these features. And so if you were using Reels on Facebook, Facebook now is pushing out content from business pages that is that Reels based content.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this. I know you are not just a social media expert. That's not what you do. You have a business that you've built otherwise. And now, because that's one of my other things too. I see so many social media experts out there that all they do is talk about social media and how they grew and built. They're teaching other people about how to use social media. I'm it feels a little bit inauthentic to me. If you're telling people how to build off social media and that's how you built your following, that feels different than actually building it for something else, which you did food and nutrition and exercise and health and stuff. That is a whole different ballgame. So tell us a little bit about your journey, how social media has played out in your businesses and what that looks like.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I always say, if you are going to purchase from someone, if you're going to hire a mentor, make sure they've done the thing that you actually want to do. That is just so big for me. So 9 years ago, I actually started on Facebook. Maybe Instagram was around, but I started building a health and wellness business based in direct sales, utilizing social media. And I had less than 400 followers on Facebook, 0 Instagram. And so with Facebook, I did immediately say, listen, I'm going to treat this like a business. And I started a business page. And on that business page, I paid $3 a day for really simple ads. And my ads were literally follow me for like more mommy and me workouts or more pregnancy workouts. And it was just like a video of me doing a little workout. And I was just looking for followers. And so my business really started over there. And then I saw, kind of the rise of Instagram. And I was over on Facebook. I had hit, almost like 90,000 followers over there. And so when I moved over to Instagram, a lot of those people came with me. And Instagram, it started, we all remember, like it was very different.
Just the little static images.
Exactly, right? It was the static images. It was a lot of like bloggers and like I watched a lot of the rise of like the mommy blogger and like the influencers, right? Those mommy bloggers became like the largest influencers. And so when I first started my Instagram, it was health and fitness and wellness because it was built for that business, but it was also built on like, this is who I am and my family and get to know me, which was great for that point in time with Instagram. And so my Instagram grew to about 40,000 followers. And I should say, for the last 4 years, like that wellness business has created over 7 figures in yearly revenue. So, and this is all through social media. I stopped with paid ads. This was all organic following, organic traffic, and leading them into funnels. And we can talk about that too, right? Like how do we actually make a business work? But I got stuck at that 40,000 followers for about 2 years. And it was okay because people would follow me and people would unfollow me.
Yeah.
So, it was that like, well, I'm not growing, but at least I'm still getting some new eyes on me, which again allowed me to sustain a 7-figure business. But I just got to a point last year where I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, if I really, truly want to grow and scale another business and continue to grow and scale my wellness business, then I've got to figure out what's working on Instagram right now. This isn't just post whatever you want. And so that is when I was like, all right, I'm going to dive deep into my insights, the insights of women that I am mentoring. And I really need to unlock like these keys to the algorithm. And I had to shift my mindset from like the algorithm's working against me to literally like the algorithm is a computer program that is just like echoing what other people want. Like, all Instagram wants to do is make people happy and keep them on the app. So if I'm not getting new people, then I'm obviously not doing what people want right now. And I really had to like take that to heart and be like, listen, the algorithm's not the enemy. I need to shift what I'm doing so that I can serve the people that I want to serve. And so I did a complete overhaul of my account. I did that last summer, so summer of 2023. And within 9 months, we have grown by 75,000. We're almost
so good.
75. We're almost at 100,000 followers. I'm like 8K from 100,000 followers. So within 9 months, 100,000 new followers. And then, like I said, like 50,000 as well over on Facebook. And with that, it's not just followers. So yes, it's ideal clients. It's the right followers. They're opting in. My email list has grown by over 100,000 and my revenues increased by 25%.
So good. So good. It's so good. And it's so true. Like the algorithm, I remember during COVID, that was when I was like starkly aware of like how the algorithm really was working. I remember I was in healthcare at the time and I was like seeing all the COVID stuff. I was in the COVID unit and like, so my feed is literally filled with all of these more on the side of like, be cautious about COVID sorts of stuff. And then I was sitting down with my dad and he opened up his Facebook and I was like, wow, your Facebook feed is the complete opposite. So it's no wonder that there was so much polarization of people because when you get on Instagram or you get on Facebook, like you were only seeing the things that you were clicking on and that you were interested in. It just grows and it becomes more and more and more. So in that sense, it was a really bad thing and a negative thing. But on the same token, like I want to get a puppy this summer. And so I've been looking at puppies on Instagram. And so when I get on Instagram now, every single ad is about a puppy. Every single, like, what's it called? Explore page. If you go to my Explore page, the entire Explore page is puppies and bunnies because my daughter got a bunny this year. I want a puppy. The entire thing is puppies and bunnies. So It's like it literally is feeding you the things that you want to see. I love how you're talking about like the algorithm is not against us. The algorithm is working to put things that in front of people that they want to see. And if we can tap into what our people want to see, I think that that's the big thing that you've tapped into. When we tap into that, then we're being put in front of the people and the growth happens. And so if we're not seeing the growth that we want right now, it means we're not putting out the stuff that people want to see.
Yeah. Exactly. And that was like a hard wake up call, but one, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. And I felt like I was doing that for 2 years. Like if I'm doing the work and putting out the content, then it might as well get me results. So like ego aside, what do I do? And that's what I had to figure out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, segueing, what comes up for me is there's this belief too of like, I just have to be a slave to the machine and like put stuff out that other people want versus like, I work with women who really want to create these very heart-centered, authentic businesses. So how do we merge that together so that we're putting out content we want to create, but also is really what our audience wants to see and hear?
I mean, I love this question because if you are not, like if you feel detached from your content, if you feel like you're just creating another reel because it'll go viral, but it is not from that heart-centered place, it's not going to work. Yeah. It's just not. And so the questions that I really work with my clients on is one, like everything comes back to your business, which you should feel so purposefully led in. And so in the end, like, who do you serve, right? We know that avatar question, but then like, how can we serve them, help them every single day to solve one step of their problem? And this question felt really good to me. Not, how do I just create content that's going to go viral? How do I check a checkbox, right, to get content out there? But literally, how do I help my ideal client on the other side solve like step one of her problem? And that is it's beautiful because that is literally what Instagram is built on right now. Yeah. Everything on Instagram, like none of it is about you. It's not. Everything is about the woman on the other side that you're serving. So what is that one problem? What are the words that she's using to say like, I feel stuck, right? So like on my social media for 7 Strong, that is my ideal client. It is a woman who's saying, I'm stuck. I don't want to be a slave to the machine. I want to put out content that feels good, that attracts my ideal client and that converts. But she's also saying, I don't have a lot of time. I have kids and I have a business to run. And this all seems really complicated. And so I need to take her goals, her fears, her objections, her limiting beliefs to even like trying to start growing on Instagram and create content that helps her realize that, this can be a place for her. Yeah. And so I think a lot of times what I see is we're creating this content that's too many steps ahead, or we're using our jargon. Whereas like in the end, like my ideal client, she wants to see growth on social media and she wants it to be simple and fast. So like, how can I help her do that? And that feels really good. When I'm getting tagged by my ideal client saying, oh my gosh, you helped me do XYZ. Like that's amazing. And it forms that relationship to then help them become clients down the road and using email marketing and connecting and serving more through opt-ins. Like everything shifted when I started focusing on how do I help her now without her even needing to purchase, but becoming super clear on like one way that I help. Because if we're all over the place, then she comes to our account and she doesn't see that one way that we can help. She just sees kind of a mess and it's unorganized and we've got like 2 seconds to catch someone's attention. Really, it's all heart-led and it's all simplified, which feels really good to me as a content creator. It makes it easier to create content.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I was just talking to somebody recently, a potential client, and she was talking about creating social media. And it's in the sense of like, I want to serve everybody. I know that what I have to offer can help everybody and do all these things. And so what came up for me when you were talking was how easy, and I know I did this for a very long time, is kind of in this place of like, I have to prove that I know what I'm talking about. And I have to prove that I've got this content that's like worthy of you following me or investing in me or whatever it might be. And the shift that you talked about is this idea that it's like, it's about one person. It's about helping that one person and getting out of the like cloud of there's so much on social media and I have to put it out there to so many, but it's like, how can I just help that one person take that one next step? And how can I talk to her? And as an introvert, I feel so much better most of the time too, feeling like I'm just talking to the one person. And I know for me personally, like in the last couple of years, like working with different coaches and stuff, that's all about what it is, right? It's about this energy exchange that we're creating. And when we're in this place of like, I have to serve and speak to the whole world and put out this massive content that's going to change like everybody's life, it feels a little bit different energetically than if we were to sit down with our girlfriend and just be like, girl, you've got to try this thing. Like this is making such a game changer for me. And I think you didn't like specifically state that, but I think what I heard from you was that like how much it's just about creating these relationships and seeing people on the internet as people you're having and building relationship with.
Yeah, 100%. And if you can sit down with your girlfriend, like if one of your girlfriends could be your ideal client, do that. Sit down with them, have the conversation and like take notes. Because I also think sometimes we don't realize what experts we are in our space, right? We take for granted how much we actually know. And so we feel this pressure to like create, like you said, all this incredible content when in fact, like you already have it all within you. And if you can take 30 minutes to sit down with your best girlfriend and be like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I could help you do X, Y, Z. That's it. And now your content's there. And right now, like talking to the camera, having these conversations, like conversational reels are doing really well, letting someone behind the scenes. And if that does feel like scary, because I'm also an introvert, like it's pretend that your girlfriend's on the other side.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like FaceTime.
Exactly. Right. You're FaceTime. You're like, oh my gosh, like I just discovered this. This works in the algorithm for me today. Here's my like XYZ. Here are my top 3 tips to do this. Like go try these. And the more conversational you can get, the better. So yeah, I think that's so important to take that pressure off and just talk to that one ideal client who's hopefully just one of your girlfriends and not the mass of social media.
Yeah. Well, and I think even in social media, we've seen a trend in that people want to see more of the behind the scenes. They want to see more of the real and the authentic. And I know even years ago, I don't know, when I first started my business, like 5-7 years ago, like people were talking about like, oh, they want vulnerability. But I think we went through this phase of like fake vulnerability. And I don't know if it was TikTok, like TikTok definitely did it for me where I was like on TikTok, I'm like, this is so raw. This is so, and I remember one day doing like, I was cooking spaghetti or something at the stovetop. The lights are all dimmed and dark in my house. I've got like a messy bun. I'm wearing just like an oversized sweatshirt. And I had this like burst of inspiration. So I get on TikTok and I record this little thing and it went so well. And I'm like, dude, I had no good lighting. I was wearing no makeup. I literally had been kidding mom life all day long. It was all about the content and the connection that made it go so well. So I don't know if TikTok has maybe been part of that transition, but I think we are seeing more. People don't care if it's well produced or performed, like whatever it looks like. They want the connection. I think ultimately at the deeper part of it is all this energetic connection is the biggest difference.
Yeah. Connection. And also I think for so long it was the look at me content.
Yeah.
And now it's, I mean, this makes it sound selfish, but it's like, how can you help me?
Yeah.
As consumers on social media apps, like we have a million bazillion choices of who to follow. And so if your content doesn't make my life better, I'm not clicking follow. And so that's what I'm always asking. Am I making someone's life better by them following me? Am I helping to simplify their life or, inspire or giving them a way to connect with me on a human level that makes them feel so like it's become really big of like, hey, my bio needs to tell you how I'm going to help you and
Yeah.
serve you and connect with you.
Yeah.
Because it really has gone from this look at me to I have a million choices. And it was interesting. I was looking at my data, and over literally Christmas Eve to like, I don't know, a little before New Year's, there was like 5 days in there on both my accounts. So the interesting thing is having like the wellness account, which has, 140,000 followers, and then my 7 Strong account, which I just started this year, which has like a little over 5,000. I can look at the data. And so I can see how these 2 different accounts behave, 2 different business areas, all those things. Both of them had more unfollows, like a ton of unfollows in those 5 days, like over Christmas.
Yeah.
The New Year. So everyone's like, I'm cleaning out my feed.
Yes.
Right? Only following people I love in 2024. Then 2024, January 1st, my numbers went back up and they've continued to grow. But people are going through these seasons of I am only following people who add value in my life. And that's really what we're in right now. And a really important question to ask ourselves as we create content and optimize our bios and our feeds is, am I serving this person? And do they know it? Because that's really important to like step back, because you can be creating incredible content, but when they come to your account, is it clear how you serve them and why they would even click on a post in your feed? Because if it's just your face, it doesn't tell them what they're getting from it. So like, can we somehow communicate? We have this 2 seconds they look at our feed, how we're going to serve them and help them. And the feel of our account, like you said, these like heartfelt, soul-led accounts would feel very different than I work with some women who are like luxury brands, and they're very like black and gold and like designer labels. And it kind of feels like hard and stark, which is going to be different.
Yeah.
Like my women who are like, no, I am like the heartfelt, like soul-led brand. They're like softer. So like even that, what does that look like within your branding, within your bio, within your feed? And that all comes across so fast.
And honestly, I'll like pull out you because you just talked a little bit about the branding, is I do know that there's a lot of people that go to this branding piece first, like feeling like, especially new entrepreneurs, right? Like we have to feel like, even recently, I was like, maybe I want to change my branding colors. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like that's not where the brand is coming through. The branding is coming through in the message and the content. And so I think it's really helpful to even just highlight that too, is like how much of, like you said, it's the energy of our brand. Like what are we bringing to the platform and like what's there?
Yes.
And that comes from just us sharing. So I know this has been an amazing episode and we've done so more, and we could probably just keep going and keep talking. And, back in the day when we put in our bios, like mom of 3, dog mom, like, but you have a workshop coming up where people can go dig deeper into this and learn how they can kind of overhaul and get that exponential growth in their space too. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So we're doing a 5-day Insta Growth Bootcamp, and it really is like step-by-step, bite-sized pieces each day. So everything from like, how are we optimizing our bio? What's in and out in Instagram? How do we really identify that ideal client that we're going to serve? We're going to dive into this like micro niche strategy that is what like changed my entire business. I mean, completely. And so we're going to dig into all of that. If you guys are interested, you can opt in, head on over to 7strong.com/Insta Growth Bootcamp. You can find me over on 7Strong Co on Instagram, and I'll have the link there. This is my passion. This is what lights me up, is like, how do I put this in bite-sized pieces so that women can literally go put things into place today and then immediately start seeing changes, because it can happen. Like it does happen that quickly. I didn't believe it. I thought it had to be some like huge thing, but so quickly you can start seeing changes in your Instagram. And so it's like the best way to kick off 2024. And I'm so excited.
Good. Yeah. And we'll make sure to have all of that linked up in the bio and things like that so that people can, or not in the bio, in the show notes. I'm like, where are we? We're talking about bios. Anything else you feel like we left out that you want to make sure we leave people with?
No, I really think right now it's know your ideal client, know how you're serving her, and then know like we talk niche, like go 7 levels deeper. And again, we'll teach that in the Insta Growth Bootcamp, this micro niching strategy. And then it's that one piece of content, that one piece of value you're doing over and over again, which makes your life easier. And it makes your ideal client, it makes it so clear for her how you're serving her. Like those are the pieces. And then like bigger picture is like connected to an opt-in and email marketing. And now you have a sales machine, but it can start for free from Instagram. And that's really gosh, how can I help women grow and scale businesses like without pouring a bunch of money into ads and all of that? So anyway, like you said, we could talk forever. Yes. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that I got to bring a little bit of my passion to your listeners today. So thank you.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. This was awesome. That's kind of one of the questions people are always asking. It's like, how do I grow my audience? How do I grow my community? And it is always about coming back to like, how do we do that authentically? Because back in the day, I remember spending money and getting thousands of followers that were like, and then spending years and years cleaning all that out. So there's definitely this, like we want, like you said, to grow from this place of genuine connection and relationship and how can I serve them and not just the vanity numbers of getting big audiences and things like that. So I loved it. It was so good.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Alrighty, friend. It was such a pleasure to hang out with you today on today's episode. I cannot wait to do it again with you next week, so save the date. We'll meet here again. Until then, if you haven't already, be sure to leave a review on the podcast, letting us know what you love about this podcast. After you do that, submit a screenshot of that to support@reneefick.com, and you will be entered in to be able to have one of our free spots inside of Your Cycle 101, our foundational program, letting you know the ins and the outs of how your cycle impacts you every single day. Alrighty, friend, I will see you next week.